My darling philosophers, welcome to our daily devotional reading. I hope you had a good day. A special welcome to the members of our make-believe monastery. If you are simply dropping in, you dropped into a devotional reading of the text of Plato, this here in search of truth or in pursuit of truth. Be careful what you wish for. Let's close our eyes. Turn inward. Yes, to the still small voice. To the fire that burns in the heart. Let's pay attention today to that. That passion. That fire. That call. That desire. Maybe the desire isn't simply there for no reason. Maybe the desire can lead you to the part you can play, best play in this unfolding. The one mind knowing itself. Picking up your part, your role, and playing with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. What is your part? Most likely you don't know. Most likely you will never know, and most likely this part will change over the course of the years. You will change. But play your part well. For once it is played, it is there. Forever imprinted. On the face and as a face on the whole. You are never alone. So together, let us read Plato. Cookery or pastry baking, then, I maintain to be a flattery which takes the form of medicine, and tiring or cosmetics, oh, it's on the other page, never you mind, which takes the form of gymnastics, is a knavish, false, ignoble, illiberal, working deceitfully by the help of lines and colours and enamels and garments, and making men affect a spurious beauty to the neglect of the true beauty which is given by gymnastics. I wish I could do all this new contouring that everybody does. I just didn't even bother putting on mascara today. And I went to the office like this. One day I will go to someone who knows how to do makeup properly, and then I too will be beautiful. I would rather not be tedious, and therefore I will only say after the manner of the geometricians, for I think that by this time you will be able to follow. As tiring or cosmetics is to gymnastics, I should probably rather just go to the gym more often, or at all. I do train on my own. As cosmetics is to gymnastics, cookery is to medicine, or rather, as cosmetics is to gymnastics, sophistry is to legislation. The appearance... Oh, I shouldn't be speaking now, sorry. Sophistry. And as cookery is to medicine, rhetoric is to justice. And this, I say, is the natural difference between the rhetorician and the sophist. But by reason of their near connection, they are apt to be jumbled up together. Neither do they know what to make of themselves, nor do other men know what to make of them. For the body presided over itself and were not under the guidance of the soul, and the soul did not discern and discriminate between cookery or pastry baking and medicine. But the body was made the judge of them, and the rule of judgment was the bodily delight which was given by them. And the word of Anaxagoras, that word with which you, friend Polus, are so well acquainted, would prevail far and wide. Chaos would come again, and cookery or pastry baking, health and medicine would mingle in an indiscriminate mass. And now I have told you my notion of rhetoric, which is, in relation to the soul, what pastry baking is to the body. I may have been inconsistent in making a long speech, when I would not allow you to discourse at length, but I think that I may be excused because you did not understand me, and could make no use of my answer when I spoke shortly, and therefore I had to enter into an explanation. And if I show an equal inability to make use of yours, I hope that you will speak at equal length. But if I am able to understand you, let me have the benefit of your brevity, as is only fair. And now you may do what you please with my answer. The benefit of your brevity, nice alliteration there. Not necessarily a benefit. Polus, what do you mean? Do you think that rhetoric is flattery? That's what he's been saying. Socrates, nay, I said a part of flattery. If in your age, Polus, you cannot remember, oops, I forgot as well. What will you do by and by when you get older? Polus, and are the good rhetoricians meanly regarded in states, under the idea that they are flatterers? Socrates, is that a question or the beginning of a speech? Polus, I'm asking a question. Socrates, then my answer is that they are not regarded at all. Polus, how not regarded? Have they not very great power in states? Socrates, not if you mean to say that power is a good to the possessor. Polus. And that is what I do mean to say. Socrates. Then if so, I think that they have the least power of all citizens. Polus. What? Are they not like tyrants? They kill and despoil and exile anyone whom they please. Socrates. By the dark, Polus, I cannot make out at each deliverance of yours whether you are giving an opinion of your own or asking a question of me. I am asking a question of you. Yes, my friend, but you ask two questions at once. How two questions? Why, did you not say just now that the rhetoricians are like tyrants, and that they kill and despoil and exile anyone whom they please? I did. Well then, I say to you that here are two questions in one, and I will answer both of them. And I tell you, Polus, the rhetoricians and tyrants have the least possible power in states, as I was just now saying, for they do literally nothing which they will, but only what they think best. Polus. And is not that a great power? Socrates. Polus, as already said, the reverse. Polus. Said the reverse? Nay, that is what I assert. No, by the great, what do you call him? Not you, for you say that power is a good to him who has the power. I do. And would you maintain that if a fool does what he thinks best, this is a good? And would you call this great power? I should not. Socrates. Then you must prove that the rhetorician is not a fool, and that rhetoric is an art and not a flattery, and so you will have refuted me. But if you leave me unrefuted, why the rhetoricians who do what they think best in states, and the tyrants will have nothing upon which to congratulate themselves. If, as you say, power be indeed a good, admitting at the same time that what is done without sense is an evil. Yes, I admit that. How then can the rhetoricians or the tyrants have great power in states, unless Polus can refute Socrates and prove to him that they do as they will? Polus. This fellow. Socrates. I say that they do not do as they will. Now refute me. Polus. Why have you not already said that they do as they think best? And I say so still. Then surely they do as they will. I deny it. But they do what they think best. Aye. That, Socrates, is monstrous and absurd. Socrates. Good words, good Polus, as I may say in your own peculiar style. But if you have any questions to ask me, either prove that I am in error or give the answer yourself. Polus. Very well. I am willing to answer that I may know what you mean. Socrates. I am willing to answer so that I may know what you mean. Polus, very well. Socrates, do men appear to you to will that which they do, or to will that further end for the sake of which they do a thing? When they take medicine, for example, at the bidding of the physician, do they will the drinking of the medicine which is painful, or the health for the sake of which they drink? Clearly the health. And when men go on a voyage or engage in business, they do not will that which they are doing at the time. For who would desire to take the risk of a voyage or the trouble of business? But they will to have the wealth for the sake of which they go on a voyage. Certainly. And is not this universally true? If a man does something for the sake of something else, he wills not that which he does, but that for the sake of which he does it. Yes. And are not all things either good or evil, or intermediate and indifferent? To be sure, Socrates. Wisdom and health and wealth and the like you call goods, and their opposites evil. I should. And the things which are neither good nor evil, and which partake sometimes of the nature of good and at other times of evil, or of neither, are such as sitting, walking, running, sailing, or again wood, stones, and the like. These are the things which you call neither good nor evil. Exactly so. Are these indifferent things done for the sake of the good, or the good for the sake of the indifferent? Clearly the indifferent for the sake of the good. Then when we walk for the sake of the good, and under the idea that it is better to walk, and when we stand equally for the sake of the good. Yes. And when we kill a man, we kill him or exile him or despoil him of his goods, because as we think it will conduce to our good. Certainly. Men who do any of these things do them for the sake of the good. Yes. And did we not admit that in doing something for the sake of something else, we do not will those things which we do, but that other thing for the sake of which we do them? Most true. Socrates, then we do not simply kill a man to exile or to despoil him of his goods, but we will to do that which conduces to our good, and if the act is not conductive to our good, we will not will it. For we will, as you say, that which is our good, but that which is neither good nor evil, or simply evil, we do not will. Why are you silent, Polus? Am I not right? You are right. Hence we may infer that if anyone, whether he be a tyrant or a rhetorician, kills another or exiles another or deprives him of his property, under the idea that the act is for his own interest, when really not for his own interest, he may be said to do what seems best to him. Yes. But does he do what he wills if he does what is evil? Why do you not answer? Well, I suppose not. Then if great power is a good as you allow, will such a one have great power in a state? He will not. Then I was right in saying that a man may do what seems good to him in a state, and not have great power, and not do what he wills. As though you, Socrates, would not like to have the power of doing what seemed good to you in the state, rather than not. You would not be jealous when you saw anyone killing or despoiling or imprisoning whom he pleased. Oh no, Socrates. Justly or unjustly, do you mean? Interesting reply. Not, how dare you insinuate that? But do you mean justly or unjustly? Polus, in either case, he is not equally to be envied. In either case, is he not equally to be envied? Forbear, Polus. Why forbear? Because you ought not to envy wretches who are not to be envied, but only to pity them. And are those of whom I speak wretches? Yes, certainly they are. And so you think that he who slays anyone whom he pleases and justly slays him is pitiable and wretched. No, I do not say that of him, but neither do I think that he is to be envied. Were you not saying just now that he is wretched? Yes, my friend. If he killed another unjustly, in which case he is also to be pitied, and he is not to be envied if he killed him justly. Polus, at any rate you will allow that he who is unjustly put to death is wretched, and to be pitied. Socrates. Not so much, Polus, as he who kills him, and not so much as he who is justly killed. Polus. How can that be, Socrates? Socrates. That may very well be, inasmuch as doing injustice is the greatest of evils. Polus. But is it the greatest? Is not suffering injustice a greater evil? Socrates. Certainly not. Thus far, our reading. You must understand that for me, even considering that someone as you would go to such effort for someone like me seems extraordinary, narcissistic. And I blush even thinking of it. Oh, you can't see I'm blushing. I do get that it could anger someone, that the effort they go through is attributed to the gods or misunderstood. I've been there. But you must understand that I cannot even imagine someone like you going through such effort for someone like me. Appearance versus reality. Rhetoric and then sophistry being quite dangerous because they give the appearance, which is then eagerly eaten up by the ignorant populace of justice and legislation. But we spoke of that already. I was listening to conversations or some of Bernardo Kastrup's stuff on his channel today. And I totally get why my friends would say I should watch more of him and read more of him, because we seem to be very much aligned in our thinking. I'm expecting I ordered a book of his on the daimon, because the one that I found could be most helpful to my task is to, hopefully I'll be able to show you the books tomorrow, is this work he is doing on, I hate to say it, meaning. But he bites the bullet and professes that there is meaning in the universe. It's not that we need to create our own meaning, or that we have subjective meaning only. And he speaks of this, but in a very different way. But I quite like how he speaks of it. Nothing which they will, but what they think best. One of the things I listened to was him speaking of, well, creating a life of your own, a life that is according to your deepest desire, and then a life that will make best use of you for the greater good. I like that a lot. And he says that we should distinguish between that which we truly will, which we truly want, our real desires, that voice within, the daimon, and that which we think is best, because we've been so conditioned. And with good reason, we've been conditioned, because we need to adapt. We need to fit into society. We've been so conditioned to think wealth, fame, fortune, beauty, all the standard things will make us happy, will make us feel fulfilled, and live a life that we love, when that is not the case. What we will, what we truly will, and what we think best is not always the same. And then I wrote, if a fool does what he thinks best, what is done without sense is an evil. What is done without awareness. And what really jumped out at me about what he said was he kept saying, pay attention. That was, basically, I think he said if he could sum up his advice, that would be it. Pay attention. And that is something that is so difficult in our time. I imagine always human beings loved distracting themselves. But maybe if you live with the land, you have to pay more attention, because you have to know when it's going to rain. You have to know when it's the best time to sow your seeds. Even in the polis life, the city life of the Greeks, you had to be able to read the room. And when we interact with people, actual people, we still have that. We have to be able to read the room, read the people we interact with, which we completely lost, or which is distorted on the internet. No offense to the internet. So paying attention, that'll do, he said. So I'm gonna share with you what I paid attention to yesterday and today. This morning I read from this passage, this book, the passage written by Simone Weil. I don't know how to pronounce her name correctly. See, even she, chance, for I always prefer saying chance rather than providence, made him a messenger to me. It's much easier to see chance or providence through the words of another than actually seeing the other behind it. Because a human who is not a narcissist knows that they're hardly regarded at all most of the time, and happy to be so most of the time. The presence of love. I only read what I am hungry for at the moment when I have an appetite for it. And then I do not read, I eat. The other part I already read. Oh, it was something about infinity as well, that I thought, oh, that's interesting. Transported to a place outside space where there is neither perspective nor point of view. The infinity of the ordinary expanses of perception is replaced by an infinity of the second or sometimes the third degree. At the same time, filling every part of this infinity of infinity, there is silence, a silence which is not an absence of sound, but which is the object of positive sensation. More positive than that of sound. And yesterday I took this book out. I finally mailed Rebecca's letter, and she wrote about grace, and we didn't really get to speak about grace. So, of course, I thought I need to share. I'm so happy that Folly made me read Vale. I absolutely love her. Going back to her, I realized again, reading her without... I love both of them separately, but together they're too much. Quran and Vale. Emile Quran, right? I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly. This dude. I love him. I think why I enjoy him so much, reading him, and why I find him funny, is because he's not really a pessimist. But I think I read another place he isn't. He's more of an absurdist. Actually quite affirming life, which then makes more sense of how he chose to end his life or spend the last part of his life. Oh, I'll put it back later. I need to put her back anyway. So time and attention, the two most valuable assets we have, which makes it so difficult to imagine that someone would spend it on us willingly. I don't know, maybe. Strictly speaking, time does not exist. Now I know where I get it from. All mystics apparently don't believe in time, except within the limit of the present. Yet we have to submit to it. Such is our condition. We are subject to that which does not exist. time which is unreal cast over all things, including ourselves, a veil of unreality. Attention taken to its highest degree is the same thing as prayer. It presupposes faith and love. Absolutely unmixed attention is prayer. Extreme attention is what constitutes the creative faculty in man, and the only extreme attention is religious. I still need to watch that. I was in the office today, so I could do some listening on YouTube, but not on my private stuff. Vale had, I feel extremely sorry for Vale, and she had a complicated relationship with basically everyone and everything, both desiring and pushing away. And I guess I can relate. And there's a poem that she said that she memorized. She speaks a lot of memorizing poems. Which really gripped her. And maybe I shall end with reading, not reciting. Sorry. This poem. Love by George Herbert. This was my uncle's when he was a student. Love bade me welcome, yet my soul drew back, guilty of dust and sin. But quick-eyed love, observing me grow slack from my first entrance in, drew nearer to me, sweetly questioning if I lacked anything. A guest, I answered, worthy to be here. Love said, you shall he be. I, the unkind, the ungrateful. Ah, my dear, I cannot look on thee. Love took my hand and smiling did reply, who made the eyes but I? Truth, Lord, but I have marred them. Let my shame go where it doth deserve. And know you not, says love, who bore the blame? My dear, then I will serve. You must sit down, says love, and taste my meat. So I did sit and eat. Sophia herself will guide your way.